Coming to you live from the unfathomable abyss. This is Optimal Play. I'm Brandon, and most of our videos are gameplay videos, but sometimes I like to do a quick little unboxing type thing. The only time that I do these is when it's an expansion, I guess, for a game that I love. And Deep Regrets is one of them. So I'm going to take a quick look at the Deep Regrets Lamentable Tentacles mini expansion, because if you are looking at buying the game, or you have the game and not Lamentable Tentacles, you might be interested to know what's inside it. Really quick, if you would subscribe to the channel and hit the like button, that's the one and only way to support Optimal Play. We really appreciate it. Generally, we are a gameplay channel. Also, generally, it's more people than just me, and we enjoy gaming together and a lot of fun banter and everything. And we hope that we're making something that people enjoy, as I get rid of a dust bunny from the table. So when I unbox something, it's a game. It's the reason it's always an expansion for a game I love is I don't want to just like fan through what's inside, look at the components, but I like to actually look at the new rules and the new cards and things, or at least a subset of them, and to kind of see what's in the box and how it might change the game. So that's what I'm going to do here. Is we'll look at some of the new cards, talk about the new rules, not just literally what's in this cute little envelope. It's more to regret. And it sounds like the game has a large expansion. I think Deeper Regrets it's called. That is maybe on crowdfunding or something soon. I'm looking forward to it. I really like Deep Regrets. I do think a big part, even though it's a solid kind of push your luck game and also just a fishing game, is not a board game theme that I have very much. I think the joy comes from the discovery of the crazy demented fish. They're grotesque yet cartoony. It's a hilarious game, and so just adding more variety to it, to me, is the biggest like kind of win here. Even though it's not a huge amount of variety, so like let's look at what's in here. We start with this rules card. I've unboxed this already and glanced at this, so I know that what this is saying is basically just to add these fish to the game, shuffle them in, but then set cards aside so that you still have the same number. I think it's 13 per shoal pile delts in your game. So it doesn't increase the number of fish. That matters for the balance of a couple kind of crazy event type stuff that you can get in the game that I don't want to spoil if you haven't come across it. But the number of fish in those stacks can matter, and it would maybe throw things off to add more. So makes sense. I'm thinking maybe we'll peak at like 2 from each depth. I was saying that the discovery of these fish, I think, is such a big part of the fun of the game that I don't want to look at them all myself, and I also don't want to spoil them all for you. So, yeah, there's 6 new fish for each depth. Let's look at maybe 2 from each. I'll just shuffle these up, so who knows what we'll get. How about the Tri-Tentacle? This is a shallow. This is pretty grotesque for a shallow fish. It's large and foul, and when you catch it, you take a regret for each foul fish in your hand. It pulses silently, but the creatures in my hold stir in response. Okay, yeah. It's in the shallows, so you're likely to get it earlier in the game. Maybe it won't punish you too hard, but yeah, if you've been reeling in foul fish and you just decide to grab one from the shallows, this could punish you for it, unless you want those regrets. Let's check out one more. What about a blanket octopus? It's large and fair. Or large and fair, sorry I meant to put that emphasis, a little easier to catch. When you catch it, you are going to flip a coin to see whether you keep this fish or discard it and draw a dink instead. Oh, no wonder it's worth so much and so easy to catch, is that you only have a 50-50 chance of keeping it. Females are over 6 feet in length, while males are under a single inch. Damn, they've got it right. Okay, yeah, some shallow fish. Let's see what we get as we go a little deeper. After this, by the way, we'll look at the biggest regrets, the new mechanic in this pack. So let's look at 2 of these. Why not a hollow earthworm? Dear God! Flip your can of worms face down to catch this for 4 this turn only. So the difficulty is 4. So you can spend your can of worms, which normally lets you. Wow, what does a can of worms let you do? Lets you peek at a stack. It's been a few weeks since I played Deepest Regrets. I am totally blanking, but I know it's like that card that you flip and can recharge a few times over the course of the game. So you can spend it basically to make it 1 easier to catch. All right, that's a neat little mechanic, not super impactful. And when you catch it, you get 2 regrets, because why not? It's also foul, so you'll get 1 if you sell it. How many creatures are within the sheath? Jeez. All right, one more large is the giant squid. Or sorry, one more depth 2. Giant squid. Wow. It's five value, 3 difficulty. Not that hard to catch for a 5 value large fish. But it also says reveal a shark from your hand to catch this automatically. It's the origin of many sea monster legends. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if the nature of this game. I reached for my drink. I must have said it somewhere else. That's fine. I'll make it through this short video. I don't know if this game really has the tools for you to like kind of do this as a strategy. Try to get a shark, then get the giant squid. It's maybe a little too random for that, but it's nice if it happens to line up for you. Okay, that leaves depth 3. Usually the most hideous, horrible stuff is down here. How about like a great old one? Oh yeah, sure. Just put Cthulhu down there. Why not? It is worth 9. That's about the highest value I've seen, and is 8 difficulty to catch. When it's viewed, all players may choose to take a regret and move their boat to depth 3. He calls to us in his dreams. So everyone can move. Everyone gets to move down for free. So it's kind of bad for the person who found it, who is probably already down at the bottom. It helps their opponents out. Cool. All right, one more. Is the Sharp Spear Enope Squid. It is small and fair. I think the fair fish are real. This thing is wild though. Different colored tentacles. I assume this is a real fish. I don't want to meet one. Each of their tentacles is covered in sharp hooks. They're hard to get off. Yeah, I bet. Okay, it's easy to catch though. 2 difficulty, 4 value, and but you cannot sell or mount this fish. Oh, you can't. It latches onto you. That's pretty funny, actually. I like that. So it's just 4 points at the end of the game, basically, because you can't sell or mount it. It just has to sit in your hand, unless you find other effects to discard small fish or something. Very cool. Very cool. I'm excited to see all the fish. I'm not going to look at them all here, but we are gonna, before we go, talk about the biggest regrets. They're bigger. Regret cards are mini cards. These are full-size ass cards, but they're really a completely different mechanic from other regrets. This tells us that at the start of the game, we'll deal a random biggest regret card to each player. Players tuck this card under the lower left corner of their angler board so that only the 0 ability is visible. So let's flip one over now. Again, I won't spoil these all for you. We'll look at about 2. So like Sentimental, you would tuck this under so that only the 0 is visible. At the start of each day, players adjust their biggest regret card's visibility based on how many regret cards they have. So kind of tied to your like madness level also, you adjust how much of this is visible. Once per day on their turn, a player can use the topmost visible ability on their biggest regret card. This is not an action. So like Sentimental, if your regrets are at 0, you can force another player to gain a regret once per day. That's just mean. But at 1 through 6, you can give another player 2 of your regrets. 7 through 12, you can give another player 1 of your regrets. So it gets better and then worse. And then finally at 13, take a random regret from all other players, then discard an equal number of regrets. So everyone else loses a regret. So you could do that if you're forcing your opponents on purpose to have less regrets because it screws up their strategy. It doesn't actually reduce yours. And I've looked at these cards. They all have this flow to them where they do something good, they do something way better, but then it gets worse. So the sweet spot is that 1 to 6 regret for these biggest regrets abilities. You don't really want to be at 0, but you don't want to be up here. Your ability gets worse. It still might be something interesting enough that you want to do it, but it's not going to be as strong. So let me just flip one more here. We'll look at Unambitious. This at 0 lets you look at the top 3 cards of the Dink deck and keep one. At 1 through 6, it lets you look at the top 5 cards of the Dink deck and keep one. But then at 7 through 12, you draw a Dink and take a regret, and at 13, you draw a Dink and take 2 regrets. At that point, you're only doing those top ones, I think, if you are trying to be very regretful as a strategy to sell your foul fish or score them at the end of the game. That's it. That's what's in the Lamentable Tentacles box. It's like 24 cards total, something like that. But I'm excited to play it. I haven't played it yet, so I'm not going to sit here and say I recommend you get it because I don't know from experience how these biggest regrets play. But I think it's cool. It's a little tweak. It's more variety in the fish. And it will, tide me over. Again, no, see what I did there? No pun intended. it'll tide me over until the big expansion, the bigger Regrets expansion sometime down the road. So, cool. I hope you appreciated this. If you did, hitting those buttons below the video helps us out a lot. And let me know in the comments what your biggest regrets are. Why not? We'll be back with all sorts of gameplay of Deep Regrets and other games on the channel. And until then, be optimal.